my passion for giving back started at the age of 15, and I started with a small circle, which is my family, friends, and relatives. And alhamdulillah, little did I know that the fundraising grew across the globe through my online network.
Oh, wow.
And it was taking up a lot of my time. So I started off with just doing like food distribution in Afghanistan, and it kind of led us over to doing medical cases. So I used to take, children from Afghanistan that were very sick, and due to war conflict zone, we don't have advanced medical supplies or hospitals in Afghanistan. So therefore, some of the severe patients that were children needed medical attention immediately that was outside of Canada. So I would take those cases, do an online fundraising for them, and send them abroad to countries neighboring like India, Pakistan. It really depended on their severity of their illness.
Today's guest is someone whose compassion and leadership have touched lives across borders. Rana Akbary works with an international called IDRF, International Development and Relief Foundation. It is an international nonprofit charity organization supporting more than 30 countries. And she's the founder of United for Afghanistan, a grassroots dedicated to empowering Afghans and amplifying their voices worldwide. With 15 years plus experience in fundraising and humanitarian projects, she's a public speaker, a change maker, and a woman whose story reminds us that true leadership begins with the service. Please welcome Rana Jan. Rana, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Amazing. So before we start talking about your amazing projects you're doing, I'd love to know a little bit what motivates you every morning.
That's actually a great question, which I also ask myself when I wake up. What motivates me is, first of all, my children. I have 3 kids, and the things that I do is for their sake. And also just knowing the fact that living in Canada, we have so many opportunities to give back to our community at home and across the globe.
Amazing, amazing. Speaking of children, so you're so much into, public service. Right now you're working for a nonprofit organization. Everything you do it's a service for everyone, your peers, humanity in general. Was there a defining moment in your own childhood that you basically realized, what I really enjoy is serving others?
Yeah, actually, so obviously background is Afghanistan, and I remember when we left our motherland, I was, I think, 4 or 5 years old, and at that time, I had the pictures of the war in my mind throughout my career and throughout my youth, and I've said to myself that when I grow up, wherever I am in the world, I promise to give back to our community, to give back to those children that needs our support the most, and I think that just kind of carried all over my life in my mind. It was always in my heart. And when I actually started implementing my promise or dream into action was at the age of 15, when I started getting interested more in giving back through fundraising with my family and friends.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So there's a part of you that basically from very early childhood that made what you are right now and turn it into a passion.
I think we can, I think all of us relate to that,
Yes.
Especially those that have been migrated from their back home to countries like Canada, where you're always looking for opportunity to give back. It's because of your own experience and the background that you and your family have suffered and gone through because of war in your country, right?
Awesome. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So you've been through a lot of challenges, and now you made a promise for yourself, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I kind of reduce that challenge for others.
Yeah.
Amazing. There's a quote by Mother Teresa, the person we all look up to for service, right? It says that not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love.
Exactly.
And I think that perfectly reflects on what you're trying to do through the
So they say
community.
change starts within yourself right at home.
Right.
And we shouldn't think of changing the world. We should just think of changing that 1%
Yes.
and inspiring that 1%, because that 1% will take you to so many other people across the globe that you might not be even aware of, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So do you think that one person is yourself or somebody else?
Well, I start with myself first. I try to inspire myself.
Yeah.
Like I said, as a change maker, change starts within your own self.
Yes.
And once you kind of get the idea,
Yeah.
then inshallah, you become a role model yourself,
Yeah.
and people look up to you
Yes.
because of those changes.
Yes.
Where it's a bit different when you come from an Afghan culture.
Yeah.
It's you try to tell people what to do and try to help them to change. But I think the opposite. Help yourself first, try to change yourself, and then the rest of the world will see you and be a role model for them to, inshallah, continue the legacy, right?
Amazing. Legacy, the name
Yeah.
of our podcast. Exactly. So there's a couple points. One, we have a Persian or Farsi code. Say, چراغی که در خانه میسوزه در مسجد نارواست. Whatever you have at home, don't take it to the mosque. You got to feed yourself first, right? And second one is, as Rumi says in one of that, yesterday I was smart. I was trying to change the world. Today I'm wise. I'm changing myself. And that's what you're exactly trying
and
to do.
that's my favorite quote.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an amazing code. Yes. Amazing. So getting to know a little bit of what you do. Now, take us into the projects that you do with IDRF. What inspired you to step into the humanitarian world with that specific organization?
Right. So IDRF, International Development and Relief Foundation. By the way, it's a nonprofit organization that I work for. I work as the National Fund Development Manager across Canada. And honestly, like I said, my passion for giving back started at the age of 15. And I started with a small circle, which is my family, friends, and relatives. And alhamdulillah, little did I know that the fundraising grew across the globe through my online network.
Oh, wow.
And it was taking up a lot of my time. So I started off with just doing like food distribution in Afghanistan. And it kind of led us over to doing medical cases. So I used to take, children from Afghanistan that were very sick. And due to war conflict zone, we don't have advanced medical supplies or hospitals in Afghanistan. So therefore, some of the severe patients that were children needed medical attention immediately that was outside of Canada. So I would take those cases, do an online fundraising for them, and send them abroad to countries neighboring like India, Pakistan. It really depended on their severity of their illness.
So you were doing it all by yourself, not through organization?
Yes,
Wow.
but all by myself. It was all an online
Very
network.
inspiring.
Yeah. We had a case, actually, Baby Zara, and all of my kids, their name starts with Z. It's because of Baby Zara. Unfortunately, we lost her. She was a patient with a kidney transplant, and she needed a surgery. So I sent her to India, and the cost was about $50,000.
Wow.
Nearly impossible to raise, especially when you're like online and you're a volunteer, you're not connected to an organization.
Yeah.
But that was my very first medical case that I took. And alhamdulillah, there's a lot of support. We raised within a few days. I had people approaching that they wanted to donate. They wanted to share their social media.
Yeah.
They wanted to use their social media platform to raise for that case. And we did it. The surgery went well, but we lost the baby, unfortunately.
I'm so sorry.
And then we took another baby, baby Zubair. They all started with Z.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we also lost him.
Wow.
He was diagnosed with cancer. The surgery went well, but Allah knows best what happened afterwards. But then, so we continued taking, I continued taking these medical cases. But subhanAllah, it was very overwhelming. It takes a toll on your body, on your mental and emotional health. And also because I was already a mom at home and I was working full time. And these cases, because of time difference, it requires you to stay up all night because it's daytime in India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, right? I couldn't do it. But at the same time, it's like, what do I do now, right? The projects are growing. The work is growing. People are raising. I wouldn't want to let go of this, not because I'm only passionate about it, but also because those children, family needs our support.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to make a very difficult decision, and I let go of my career. By the way, my background is finance, HR, and accounting. So I used to work at an HR firm as an HR coordinator, which was my full-time job, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I quit that, and I transitioned into a nonprofit. So this goes back to your question, why I got involved or what motivated me to get involved in nonprofit. These were the reasons. I simply cannot see myself not giving back to the community. at any cost. So whether if I'm a mom of 5 or I'm a full-time employee or if I have a side business, whatever it is, whatever hats that I wear in my life, it's that hat of giving back to the community has always needs to be there. And that truly inspired me. So I transitioned to full-time into a nonprofit. And before IDRF, I actually also worked for another Muslim nonprofit organization called ITCI. And I was in charge of all the projects, fundraising efforts in Ontario. And then, alhamdulillah, I stepped into IDRF, which is one of the most transparent organizations. And it's been 3 years that I'm with them, and I love what I do, and I couldn't imagine myself not being in this platform.
I'm sure you enjoyed the conversation so far. It's worth mentioning that today's episode is sponsored by a company called Unique Homes Group, Inc., which is a comprehensive property management service company in Toronto and across the GTA. It is actually owned by a dear friend of mine. They manage, market, and maintain properties across the GTA with precision and care. They maximize the return with minimized stress. From fully managing Airbnb homes to facilitating film shoots in unique spaces, their team delivers professional results tailored to each client's needs. So I highly recommend checking them out, their website, get in touch with them. If you need any quote, they are the one to actually get in touch and help you the best way possible. That's a very inspiring story on how you transitioned from your corporate job into a nonprofit. Yeah. That reminds me of this concept that there's a book about it. The people in general are 3 different types. The first one is givers. They always want to give, right? Whether to family, people, anyone who comes across their way. Second one's takers. They always want to take, right? And then there's matchers. You give them, they give back, right? Yeah. So I think it really matters what type of person you are to go into these kind of type of work. So you have to be a massive giver to always think about what can I do for people to change their lives, whether it's by saving their lives, feeding them, bringing clothes, or getting a new opportunity or jobs. And do you think that like someone has to really think about that before going into a job to find out what type of person they are so that they can really enjoy the world?
So look, I always tell everyone it's all about your passion, especially living in a country like Canada with so many plenty of opportunities. You kind of really have to find yourself. Unfortunately, the type of broad of us Afghan had, we were never told to find yourself, identify who you are first.
Right.
I think being compassionate to yourself comes first, and I have learned that from the hard way. For me, like you mentioned, it's either giving or taking or match, right?
Yeah.
For me, it was always give, but there was a point that I had to pause and reflect and kind of be more compassionate to myself and start loving myself, putting myself first. Because when you take care of yourself, you're able to take care of your family, your friends, your children, and the community, right? But we do vice versa, which doesn't, it might work for a very short period of time, but if you wanted to focus on the long term, then you got to take care of yourself first, and then the rest comes after. So one advice that I could give to your audience or whoever's watching this is find who you are. Identify who you are and find your passion. Take your passion and put a lot of hard work, because a passion does not come without an effort. You have to put an effort. It takes a lot of sacrifices, a lot of compromisation, but you will get to where you are. It's because of your passion.
Amazing. Now, we always hear that. You're right. We got to find ourselves first. We got to find the passion. But it's hard to figure out what's the way, what's the method to find out that passion, right? For example, a person like me or like yourself or anyone like that age, you're young, you don't have a lot of experience, you're fresh out of university, or you started working and you're for 2 years into a job and you just realize this is not giving you, it probably gives you satisfactory of, money and all these things, but with emotional and maybe spiritual, it's not giving you that satisfaction. What are some of the steps? Is it something like start doing some volunteer work like you did and then transition slowly into this?
Yeah. So I would say, look, we are always lost souls, right? Regardless of our age gap, you're always, there's never an end to anything, especially your passion. So look, I mean, like I said, I come from a background of HR and finance with all numbers. I never
Right.
imagined myself that
Yeah.
I would transition to a full-time position of a charity, nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had always imagined myself as a side hobby to give back to my community, but transitioning into what I do right now, no. I say continue doing what you're doing. See what makes you happy. What's most important, this goes back to your earlier question, is that when you get up in the morning and you're up from your bed, you got to ask yourself, when your day starts, whatever you do that you do, right? Whether if it's 9 to 5 or whether if it's whatever type of job you're doing, you got to ask yourself, is this what you want to really do? Does it give you that contentment, that satisfaction feeling? Are you happy? Because we're not back home. If you're not happy with something, you can make that change. You can make that decision. And there's so many platforms that allows you to make those decisions, right? So you have to ask yourself. And this is a constant reminder every day. Is this really what I want to do? Do I see myself doing this? Okay, what's going to happen down the road 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And I would say continue doing what you're doing. And also it's okay to fail. I think that's it's also important factor to consider is most of the times we think that, okay, failing is a big loss of our life. It's not actually. You fail. Every time that you fail, it's actually a step closer to getting to know yourself and getting closer to your passion and getting closer to what really makes you happy. So fall, fail, get up, and see where you want to see yourself and continue doing whatever you want to do. And never feel that, okay, you started something, you studied, you invested financially, your time, your energy, you went to uni for whatever you did, and now you find yourself working in a career for 5 years and you're tired, you're done. You're like, I want to make a change, but how do I make that change? From here, I started from here and I'm there, but how do I come back here and then go back there and
Right.
start from scratch?
Right.
I say it's okay because honestly, we're only given one life.
Yeah.
So make the best of it. Only do what makes you happy.
Absolutely. That brings me to two different quotes that I usually have. They say, life is all about experiences.
Yeah.
So just enjoy the experience, whatever it is.
That's it.
Right? Everything comes along the way. And the second one is that whenever you want to know that you're doing the right thing or the right job you have, you're working, but you feel like you're not working. You're trying to have fun with that. The day you think that you're working and you can't wait to go home, maybe you need some soul searching that time. Yeah. Right? Why do you need to go home so quickly? I get it. We have a lot of responsibilities, but anything that we do, it should be something that we truly love. Like we talked earlier today, you're like, why in the morning we have this? Because I have a passion for it.
Yeah.
So morning, late night, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy that. So it's fun for me.
Yeah.
It's not even work, right?
Honestly, like just an example, when you asked me to come on your platform to give a talk, I was so motivated, even though for a mom of 3 and I have a newborn baby, I was like, and I nurse him full time.
Right.
But it goes back to your passion. I'm like, how do I make this work? But no, I cannot lose this opportunity. It's because I live for this. I look up to this and I breathe what I do. This is also part of our community work, right?
Exactly.
And I've been preparing for it since last night, trying to coordinate who's going to look after the kids. I fed them, they were good to go. Then I came here.
Right.
So it's your passion that actually motivates you and pushes you, right?
Absolutely.
Do what you really love, because without that, honestly, you feel like you're wasting your life.
Absolutely. So because your profession is more helping communities in nonprofit and volunteer work, just want to circle back on that basically. What are some of the challenges you're facing when you try to help your community or any community in general?
Right, that's a good question. So I am not just involved within my community, which is the Afghan, but I'm actually very well, and it's also because of my job, very well involved in the Muslim community and also outside of Muslim community, because my personality is a social butterfly.
Nice.
So I love socializing. You'll find me with different kind of people.
So you adapt in every situation.
Yes. You have
like
to.
a chameleon.
Yes.
Nice.
So I love people.
Right.
I love going out. I love talking to people. So you always find me having friends from different backgrounds. And so one of the challenges, or some of the challenges, that would be it's hard to convince people sometimes. Obviously, my background is marketing as well. I've done a lot of sales. With one thing, when it comes to sales, even talking to people is also part of like sales.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes I find it a bit difficult, especially talking to our elders, because we grew up here and they grew up with completely different mentality, different background. How do I make them believe in our idea, believe in me and what I do? That's been one challenge. And second challenge, I think, now I'm not only relaying this to the Afghan community, but across the Muslim community, is that every community is very involved in their own community. There's no unity. And I find that a bit still challenging. I've worked on it a little bit, but of course it takes all of us like yourself to come forward and make that change, inshallah, right? Like, for example, the Pakistani community, the Afghan community, the Indian community, the Somali community, I found like they're all integrated with their own community. And I haven't seen a platform where they're all unified and united together, just like Muslims are supposed to be, right?
Right.
That would be the second challenge. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. I think you're right. It's just like, I think it's something ingrained in our human nature. Yeah. We are going to be resisting a little bit of change, right? Just because we are so much safety oriented, right? Our brain is always looking for safety, not any change. We don't want to be under any influence unless there's authority, right? Or we're fear of loss of something, right? So that's why people in sales, you got to use the loss tricks, right? To make sure the person is going to buy or donate. But I think the true freedom is that you realize whatever you do is coming back to you. Yeah. Whether you buy into an idea or not. So again, you are the driver of your own destiny, right? So it's there was another basically saying there's the people who are always giving, right? They don't realize that the universe is conspiring to give them everything as well along the way. They think they are giving, but they're actually receiving the most, right?
Without you knowing.
Yeah. It's like, how do you know if you can love people? It's to love yourself and love others, and that love is coming back to you at the same time, 100%. Right? So I think these are very, very important aspects, and these are secrets of a successful, happy life. Yeah. Because material world has basically distracted us so much that we forget about these. We're like, love, what does that mean? It's not going to feed me, right? Yeah. It is going to feed you spiritually.
In the long run.
In the long run, right? And if you just... Because the point of all this is like, you got to have the capacity to be able to continue something. It's like, when you start right off college, you're not going to be a manager at the organization. You're going to start from bottom, right? Slowly. So it's the same thing. Now, going back to that, it brings me back to another great initiative that you have, United for Afghanistan, which I'm also part of recently. I'm very, very honored to be part of it.
Very excited to have you.
Thank you. I think this is going to be an amazing grassroots movement that we can take it to the next level and even make it globally. And that's our point. So when you created that, what gap did you see to make something like this? Give us a little bit of info, what it is, a little bit.
Right. So United for Afghanistan, like you said, it's just a startup grassroots. It's not an organization. It's a grassroots initiative that I started off with the mentality that, okay, so I've been involved with my community. I'll be very honest. Right. It's more challenging for me to be involved in the Afghan community versus other communities. Right. I've had more support from other communities versus my community. But I could say with confidence that has changed. Alhamdulillah.
It has.
And through our work, United for Afghanistan, you could see it has changed. Afghans are actually coming forward. Yes. They are doing advocacy work on a humanitarian side of it, perhaps. And alhamdulillah, there's a lot of support that we get for our projects through United for Afghanistan. We work with IDRF, which is our charity partner. Yep. And through them, we work on the ground in Afghanistan. We have done multiple projects. But United for Afghanistan, the idea, what started it, like I said, it goes back to when I was a child. When I came to Canada, I always wanted to give back to the children of Afghanistan. But then as I grew and got more involved in the Afghan community, I noticed that our community is divided. Mm-hmm. We're not united. And it's always like, I don't want to go into details, but it's like different tribes having their own small platforms where they actually stay connected. For example, it goes back to like Shia and Sunni. Okay, so for me, I feel like as a Muslim, you're not supposed to be we're not supposed to be judging others by
Right.
what they practice and not, by how they look and vice versa. But every time I spoke to somebody in our community, it was different. I had the support, but at the same time, we're like, okay, something is missing there.
Yeah.
There's no foundation.
Right.
So then I asked myself, okay, how do I build onto that foundation? And that's when the idea came, United for Afghanistan. Okay, so under that umbrella, how can I have our Tajik community, our Hazara community, our Pashtun community, all of them under one roof, one umbrella? For example, the Sunnis with the Shias, right?
Right.
It's okay to have our differences.
Right.
It's okay to have our own beliefs
Right.
and values.
Yes.
But okay, there has to be that one unified effort and umbrella that we
Yeah.
can all come together and just leave our differences behind us at the door, come forward just to advocate for the children of Afghanistan, for the widow of Afghanistan, and help raise awareness on an international platform. And that's how the idea came. And I proposed it to my work, IDRF. They love Afghans, by the way.
Nice.
They want to do a lot of work for the Afghans.
That's amazing.
But they're like, Rana, are you sure this is going to happen? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, I don't think it's going to happen.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah, let's give it a try. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because all of our
Right.
concerts are sold out. But how do I sell this event?
Exactly.
But it took me years and years to kind of, I was like, you know what? The type of person I am, Jalal John, I don't give up easily.
Mm-hmm.
I try things. You might see me fail 10 times, but I'll still get up and try. And
Amazing.
that's when real success comes into the
Yes.
picture, right? Into
Yes.
action. I was like, okay, let's try this. Like, what do I do? How do I start? Okay, I had the
Right.
financial support from our charity partner, but like, how do I fill in the seats?
Yes.
Who do I reach out? It was the first year when I did it was just myself. And it was, oh boy, it was not easy. But the second person that I got, which I really respect and look up to our leader, Amiri Azizi Sahab.
Right.
And I picked up the phone. I called him. I was like, Amiri Sahab, I was like, this is an idea I have. What do you think? He's like, let's do it. He's like, I'm there for you. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. I'll support you, whatever it is. Let's see how it goes. So it was him. And then I contacted another sister, Lena John. I was like, okay, so I need help with organizing it. So this way I could focus on sales and PR and marketing because
Right.
I knew that this is not a concert. It's
Yeah.
not going to sell out.
Yeah.
So we did it and we organized the event. We're like, okay, let's just expect like about 50 people that shows up.
Right.
And even if we raise $30,000, we're happy. We'll walk out
Right.
of that doors happy.
Right.
But alhamdulillah, we organize it, and from speakers to sponsors to venue sponsors to food caterers to all the imams, attendees, volunteers, everyone was Afghans.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we in our first initial event, which was I think in 2023. We started off in Ramadan as our first annual fundraising event for Afghanistan. And believe it or not, we had different people at that event. We were shocked. We had Sunnis, Shias. We had a Jew brother. We had a Christian person in there. We just expected the Afghan community to show up.
Yeah.
But we've had so many different people that first event, and it was a huge, massive success. We were surprised. We were impressed. We were shocked.
That's
and then
amazing.
we continued the legacy, and alhamdulillah, we're on to our 4th year now.
That's amazing. That's really inspiring.
And one thing before you move on to the next question, the beauty about our event or the mission or whatever you want to call it, vision behind United for Afghanistan is that the minute the audience walks into the room, there's that sense of mercy, kindness, and respect. And there's that sense of, okay, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to look into your tribe or your language. It's the minute they walk into that door, it's just the vibe is so different. It's like everyone's there because they love each other. Everyone's there because they want to help Afghanistan without judging you, without criticism, without any conflict. And I think that's what we love the most about United for Afghanistan. And I think that's what the community loves about United for Afghanistan.
That's amazing, really inspiring. That's brings me to talk a little bit about one thing that I've always wanted to kind of address. I think our country has been the victim of 50 plus years of war destruction, took everything from us, took from our education. Our culture has been distraught in so many ways, right? So what happened is that it created a lot of gaps in our personal lives as well, right? And our economy has always been broken. So we weren't really, our older generation had a lot of challenges they had to overcome, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's on us new generation to change that direction, to a new direction, right? And one of the things that we should really focus is like you say, what can we do to come together as youth to become the new pioneers and to pave the way for the next generation?
Exactly.
That when they hear stories like yours, they feel very proud and continue that legacy, which we always want to do that. It's also a responsibility of our older generation. Like I always say, one of the things I love about people like Aziz Amiri, I have so much respect for him, that he's very, very open to the idea of the youth coming forward.
Yes.
We have very little people like that who are going to be open to the idea of youth coming, right? Yeah. Because they always say, you're young, you don't have a lot of experience, so you don't have the knowledge. Yeah. What they're doing, they're killing the confidence of that person at the same time. They're also distracting that person from going to the right path.
Right.
Because in our culture, we have so much respect for the elders.
Yes.
And when our elders are not supporting us, so why would I even spend my time to go after anything? I would just focus on my own life and do whatever. And then I say, I don't care about the country anymore. Yeah. Right?
Look, so when we speak of respect, you could still respect the elders in a different way, but it's okay to say no to them. I think we grew up with us being taught that it's not okay to say no to elders. You know that small example when every time we would have guests in the house and they make tea and they make the dessert table, it's like, no, you can't come, you can't touch the dessert, you can't touch the sweet, you can't touch the chai.
Yes.
You got to be on your best behavior, you got to give salam. Okay, but maybe at the same time, if we had the mindset that elders should have always given salam to the younger ones too.
Exactly.
So what?
Our Prophet was the first to always give salam to everyone.
Yeah.
He was the first to always respect from the 10-year-old to the oldest, right? Yeah. And I don't know what this culture came from, that younger generation doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You only matter when you have a white beard.
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Right?
Look, respect is earned. It's not given.
Right.
So if you truly want my respect, you have to show me something in order for me to respect you. You can't just go around, Rana, I need you to give me respect. Respect is earned by how you speak, how you put yourself together, the tone that you use, the approach that you have, and how you speak to others, and considering their experiences and qualification, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's another thing that is maybe causing that. There's a sense of insecurity sometimes in our culture, right? We're thinking like, if somebody else comes up, they're going to take my place. I'm going to lose my position. People are not going to respect me anymore. Yeah. But when we say everything comes from God, through faith, right? Everything is coming from God. God is providing for everyone, everything.
100%,
Nobody's taking my place. So are you not really a true believer? Or is it just you playing politics?
So look, I wouldn't also hold our elders accountable. You kind of have to understand their position. So if you are trying to understand somebody and want to come to a resolution, because particularly for me personally, my focus has always been be part of the solution than part of the problem. It shouldn't be always about me, myself, and I. It should be always about others. So I get along pretty well with our elders, even the difficult ones.
Right.
Because I have my ways of talking to people and getting things out of them.
Amazing. But not everyone is like you.
So I try to understand the position. So I put myself in their shoes. They grew up in a different environment.
Yes.
I know that we come from a war zone, but at least I didn't grow up in Afghanistan. I didn't have to spend in my entire childhood and youth in Afghanistan under the war zone. But these people have, right? Yeah. They came up with a different mindset, different mentality, different set of values and traditions. So you can't take them and change them. This is, for example, somebody takes me and puts me on the other side of the world. Yes. Okay, adapt into the culture, change yourself, change your mind.
Right.
I can't.
Yeah, it takes time.
I can't. It takes time. Of course, it could be done with love, with a lot of respect, so that at the same time, you're not making them feel more insecure.
Yeah.
Always make the person feel that they're more valued than you are, and you respect their experiences, and you look forward to their advices and consultation. Absolutely. Obviously, things could be done your way as soon as you realize that, okay, this is who he is. He's a very, or she, whoever it is, they're very hardcore mentality. But I know that there's something in that person that I can take to give back to the community. Now, how do I make this work? Because there's difference of age gap and mentality instead of background that we grew up in, right? Always make them feel welcomed and make them feel important.
Absolutely.
When that step is done, believe me, they will open doors for you and they will come to you and offer their help.
It's amazing. That's a very good strategy.
Which I think in our community, we forget that type of strategy.
Yes.
It's always about me,
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
I, right?
And I think
it's
we
never
should
been
change
about
that.
we.
It should be we,
Yes.
not me or you, right?
Yes.
And there should be a sincerity, like we're doing something for the greater good of everyone,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And don't get me wrong, I have a deep respect for older people. You know why? Because they have so much experience.
Yeah.
True knowledge is experience, right?
100%.
You can read all the books, but you've never tried it, still doesn't
Yeah.
really count. But if you have so much experience, that means you have the true wisdom now,
Yeah.
right? So I think the beauty of what we can do, I always say, myself, I can be a change, but together we can be a revolution.
100%.
And if we want to be a revolution, we should have everyone together,
involved. Yeah.
right? The younger, the older, male, female, everyone.
Yeah.
All the tribes, everything,
Yeah.
right? Because we want everything for let's think about humanity, not only one
Yeah.
tribe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all the same.
Exactly.
We're all going to go to the same place,
Exactly.
right? So these are something, that reminds me of a great quote. Sometimes you go there thinking, when you do something, you go
Yeah.
there thinking you're going to change change a life, right? But you realize along the way that something that has been transferred is your own heart, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that we do for the greater good for the community. We're changing ourselves
Yes.
along the way
Yeah.
for a better,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's the story of a lot of people like Gandhi or Mother Teresa or even Buddha and all these people, right?
Yeah.
So they become light for the world to look up to. It's because
Yeah.
they have had so much change in themselves,
Changing
right?
himself. Exactly.
Amazing. So going back to some of the questions about hope for our country,
Yeah.
Afghanistan, right? When you hear the word Afghan, what does it mean to you?
A lot of things. Wow. I think first of all, our amazing tasty food.
Yes, we do.
I think we all could agree to that.
Yeah. Our food
And
is very
also,
tasty.
our history. History, and as well as obviously our differences. Tribalism.
Yeah.
There are positives and
The
negatives.
beauty is in the diversity.
Exactly.
That's why we've got some of the most beautiful food, culture,
exactly
everything.
Aside from that, I think Afghans are hardworking. I think we've been loved by a lot of people, but I don't know how it is now. But I know we were. As a matter of fact, it's funny that I speak of this. Last night, I was having a heart-to-heart conversation with my dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, he was sharing his story how he lived in India and he was a professor at the University of New Delhi. And he's like, people used to respect me. He's like, when they used to hear that, oh, an Afghan's here, they would call me Khan Sahab, Khan Sahab. He's like, but that respect is no more there.
That's right.
They don't give that same respect when they hear the name Afghans, right?
Yeah.
That also kind of resonates with me. I always think about how can we, when we think of the word Afghan, okay, how do we fix the negative parts of it? And how do we focus onto the positives and bring that positive energy to kind of make changes and continue the legacy so that, inshallah, just like we have some disappointments with our elders because we're not given a chance to come forward and unleash our potentials. Okay, but that question also might resonate with us, with our children.
Yes.
What if I do the same thing,
Yes.
right? I don't want to be in the same situation as our elders where I will not allow these youths to move forward and continue. And
Right.
one of the reasons why I started Unite for Afghanistan is that we allow people, individuals like yourself, or youth to kind of come forward, give them a platform, an opportunity to unleash their potentials and aim higher than they had expected.
Yeah.
And this all goes back to the word Afghan. Honestly, like there's so many things that we can do to kind of change that around and leave a good impression. When people say, okay, Afghan, they automatically think about good things. They already do think about good things, which is our food, culture, rich history, right? But then we also have our downfall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of that, like the story of your dad being very proud of where he originates compared to what we have right now, right? We try to escape from it. It's like
Right.
you see one person Afghan, like, oh, I don't want to go because it's all Afghan there,
Yeah.
right? So what do you think is our duty as Afghans in diaspora that have been brought up without our country, right? We probably don't have that much connection because everything is in the Western world or a different country other than Afghanistan. What can we do to bring back that kind of pride for our community?
So look, you kind of have to do, I'm sure most of us that grew up here, we are already familiar with our culture and values and history.
Right.
Because we automatically take the privilege that, okay, we are Afghans, we grew up as being Afghans, we already know who we are. But that's not true. You got to look into the history. You have to read more about Afghanistan, about Afghans and who we truly are and who we were. And who we truly are, and kind of take that into implement that into the great work that you're passionate. It doesn't have to be necessarily humanitarian work.
Yeah.
It could be a different work, right?
Right.
Just like you're involved in the community with different work, right?
Yeah.
There's so much that we could actually bring forward to the table and change that, because we all grew up in different areas, whether if it's West or Europe or outside any country outside of Canada. I think every country has its beauty, and anything that you have learned or went to school for, all of your experiences, qualification, I think if you bring that forward to the table and share your ideas and value, I think it would truly impact Afghans and Afghanistan, not just in Afghanistan, but also here in Canada.
So take the initiatives, use the platform, whatever you have, and try to, raise your voice.
Yes.
Right. And respectfully ask elders to give you a chance.
Yeah.
Right.
They're getting there. It's a challenge.
Honestly, I have had some of the most amazing experience with our elders. Every time I wanted to raise a voice, I've always been given the platform, which I deeply appreciate.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think if we continue like that, there's going to be probably hundreds of people like me and you who has so much potential to offer. We just probably need one platform, one chance, and then kind of show that.
I think it goes back to what you mentioned. We need to have the mindset, okay, that I am not going to be living this life forever, right?
Right.
So when I leave this dunya, who's going to carry this work?
Yeah.
And I think that's a factor that our elders are forgetting, is that, like you said, you actually have to ask yourself, are you doing this for a greater cause, reason, which is for the sake of God, to benefit your community and have somebody else to follow the legacy? Or are you simply just doing this because you have a little bit of human ego? Well, it's okay to have human ego. It's very natural and common because we're human beings at the end of the day. We do have emotions, so it's okay to have ego. But at the same time, how far you allow your ego to go, that's a question you have to ask yourself always. It's a reminder. I think with our elders particularly, and this is all to all of you that are watching, I hope I'm not upsetting anybody. But please give that opportunity for our youth to come forward and have an open heart and an open mind, and welcome them through the open doors so that they're able to unleash their potential and fly with it high, and also with your side support and consultation and advice, because obviously we respect where they come from and we respect their experiences. Without their wisdom and experience, I don't think we could succeed even halfway through.
Absolutely.
So if we mix the two, they come halfway, we come the other halfway, we come to a negotiation table and we negotiate half and half, and they're happy, we're happy, the country progresses.
Look, what I always say is, like, when I'm in a gathering, I'm like, you should, as an elder, you should think of yourself as generals. You need soldiers.
Yes.
And we're
an army.
An army. And we're that energetic soldiers for you. Just give us a chance and we're going to conquer everything you say, right? But in a proper logical way.
Just like we keep using Amiri Sahab's name. He's our elder, but look, we always mention him. And there's never been a time where I haven't mentioned him.
Yeah.
The great work he does, anything that I still do, even though my ideas are different, but I still pick up the phone. I'm like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? It's because he has given me that respect.
Exactly.
That he respects me and my experience. So I give that same respect back to him, right?
Yeah. Honestly, same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is the backbone of, I think, helping our youth.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine a world without people like him. As Rumi says, there's a great line I just wanted to mention because it's very related to this. It says, you were born with wings. Right? So why you prefer to crawl instead?
Okay. You can't be flying all the time.
That's true. That is true.
Obviously, we have planes that fly and they crash.
Yeah.
astaghfirullah, we wouldn't want any plane to crash right now. But
Yeah.
life is not always flying.
Yes.
You actually have to fall.
Yes.
You have to crash.
Yes.
You have to get hurt. You have to go through pain. You have to
Right.
suffer.
Yeah.
Only for you to come stronger and stronger and do more.
So that
And that takes a lot of crawling.
that is a great point. So, there, like when you see bricks, right? Like building houses, right? They're made out of mud first, especially in our country,
Right.
and then they put it into this giant fire, so it becomes like it makes it very solid, so it's unbreakable almost, right?
Harden, yeah.
Harden, exactly. So I look at us humans like that as well,
100%.
right? So in order to become someone who's going to be very basically strong, you have to go through a lot of challenge to know which areas you need improvement so you can work through that. And you only know that when you face challenges, when you face insecurities, when you face difficulties that you think the world is crumbling on me, right? It's like Rumi says, the light enters where the pain starts, right? It's like going to the gym every day.
Yeah.
You work on a muscle that's the weakest, and it slowly
builds up. Yeah.
Exactly. So like you're right. Yes, you can be flying all the time. You have to start crawling,
Yes.
right? But the idea is that we have the ability to fly, but we just have to start from crawling and eventually go there. Amazing. Okay, so you're doing a lot of things, and it's mostly you're taking initiatives. What does leadership mean to you?
Wow. So leadership means, it could mean a lot of things, but if I were to share from my own personal experience, is leadership allowing others to come forward and unleash their potential. I think I'm very big on that. I've always had this mindset, but as I grew wiser and older, I take it more seriously. I think that's the top quality that you should have as a leader. Second is you have to be a very good listener. Obviously, I've always done the opposite. I've been talking a lot than listening, but I've been, like you said, sometimes it takes a lot to change yourself, and it's not easy.
Yes.
And if one thing I noticed now that, with the idea of United for Afghanistan and working as a leader yourself, and when you're in a manager position, you kind of have to evaluate yourself. You have to listen, do more listening, less talking. And also another quality which is also important, the third quality that you need to have is become a follower of your follower. Yes. You know how sometimes when we think of leader, it's like, okay, the leader is in
always
front of
front.
us, and then the followers are behind them.
Or the leader is the boss and the followers
Yeah,
are...
exactly. I stay away from the word boss. I really, really dislike that word.
Yeah.
But
egotistical.
yeah, right. So as a leader, I think you should always put yourself. Obviously, there are times that you have to put yourself at the front line. That's when you're protecting your followers, your team, and it's time for you to jump in when it has to do with their safety and protection. But I think outside of the scope, you really need to take the back seat and be behind them and make them feel like they're the leaders. You're the follower. And actually not only pretending it, but I actually implement that in action, because in order to be a good leader and be more successful, I want to learn who Jalal is and what can Jalal bring to the table forward. Maybe there's something that I am learning from you that I've never learned from anybody, right? So that's a great quality to have. And the fourth one that you need to have is give people time. Be less judgmental. Most of the time we ask, as a leader, we're like, okay, we have that boss style of demanding people or asking them what to do. Instead of demanding, getting the work done, actually do delegation, get them involved in decision making.
Create a safe environment.
Create a safe environment where they're able to make decisions, allow them to make decisions. With my team, whether if it's United for Afghanistan or at work or anyone, I involve them in decision making. Okay, so there's 3 things that I want to do. These are the 3 decisions that one of them has to be made, but I always share with the team, especially with United for Afghanistan. It's like, what do you guys think? This is what I think. This is an idea I have. I haven't decided, but I want to hear it from you. Then we make a decision. Obviously, final call comes from me, but you have to make sure they are involved, because you might have followers that are more experienced to you. are more experienced than you, that are more qualified. They know more than you. They can
Right.
bring more on the table. But how do I get them to be more involved?
Right.
So that's a great quality to have.
Amazing. This reminds me of one quote I always remember.
Yeah.
A great leader knows how to lead,
Yeah.
but the greatest leaders develops new leaders.
Yes.
Right. So you always want to.
And that's the strategy and goal we have at United for Afghanistan,
It's
inshallah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So greatest organization you want to be part of it.
Inshallah, in the future, it's going to be
Right.
an organization.
Exactly. What do you want to leave behind?
Legacy.
Legacy is the
Especially-
name of our podcast.
Right?
It's a great
I
platform.
don't know, I'm all about legacy. I love the word legacy, especially being a mom of a girl. I have one girl who's
Yeah.
about to turn 13. She's running into her teen years. It's going to be a very different thing for me.
Right.
But legacy. So what can I do? And even for my sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just there's a legacy you leave behind. They say dawah work,
Mm-hmm.
which is an Arabic word, or or good deeds starts from home. So you have to give more commitment to your children, your husband, whoever it is. If you're single and you're living with your parents, you have to make sure you prioritize them first. You have to make sure if, let's say, for example, I'm married, I'm a wife. I have to evaluate myself. Am I a really good wife before I am a humanitarian, before I am a manager to IDRF, before I am a leader at United for Afghanistan? Okay, how am I as a wife? How am I as a mother? How am I as a daughter? So these are the hats that we have wear and the relationships that we have. If you haven't found the balance, that means if one is over the other, then you're not doing well. There needs to be that certain balance in these relationships versus the community relationships that you
So
have.
prioritize.
So when we speak of what do I want to leave behind, it's these. I always question myself, okay, how do I perfect myself in these relationships so that my children can learn that, okay, mom is busy giving back to the community, but mom is not depriving me. Mom is cooking. Mom is still cleaning the house. Mom is still cooking my favorite food. Mom is still feeding us breakfast before she goes and gives a live
Right.
podcast at Jalal
Right.
John's show.
Right.
So these are the things that you really want to inject into your children through your action, through your implementation, through your lifestyle. Because I often find parents, especially in our culture, they tell their children what to do. I say, don't tell them what to do. You do it yourself. Let them watch you and learn, right? That's how you build onto that legacy.
Yes.
So that type of legacy I want to leave behind for my children and for the community. Honestly, just never forget to give back to the community, because at the end of the day, when we, especially Sadaqah Jariyah, which is a long-term charity
Reward,
effort,
yeah.
when you leave this dunya, you kind of have to ask yourself, it's people coming to your Fatiha, to your Janaza, they pray, they might give donation, they might make dua. If some of you have left disappointment, they might not even make dua for you.
Right.
But they're there, they're burying you. After a few seconds, they're gone. So who's in there?
Yeah.
It's you, your Lord, your deeds, right? Your good deeds and your bad deeds. I always give, and I actually visit the graveyard often, even if I don't go to see my loved ones here. I visit
Just
the
to remind
graveyard.
yourself,
I still go there and
that's
I
gonna
sit
be
there.
your eternal place.
Exactly. What do I do? What's in there that's going to benefit me? It's leaving righteous children behind, and also doing community work, benefiting somebody, right, in the long run. I think that gives you that satisfaction of this dunya, and also it benefits you in the akhirah, which is the other world, right? Where you're held accountable for your good deeds and bad deeds.
Amazing. Very, very purposeful, very intentional. That reminds me of a quote by Nelson Mandela, what says it's...
He's
what
my favorite.
My favorite too. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we had lived. Mm-hmm. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others.
Thank you. And we still talk about him.
Right? And we still talk about him.
Yeah.
Because he has gone through a lot of sufferings to leave a legacy. And generations like me, and probably many generations later on, are going to be talking about that, right? And that's also what your story represents as well.
Thank you.
Right? And a life of purpose,
Yes.
not just for existence, but also for intentions. And just for the closing, I have 3 sentences. You can complete that. The next chapter for United Afghanistan is...
You.
I'm very honored. But in general...
Yes. So the next chapter, inshallah, as I mentioned earlier, we're running into our 4th annual fundraising event, which is going to be in Ramadan, inshallah. So stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, U4A, and you'll find out more about our Ramadan event. We're planning that. And also, we want to do something that your team has done, CABC. I hope I said that correct this time.
Yes.
So the team really wants to do something like that. And also something woman-related, woman-driven. I feel like there's not enough importance is given to our women in our community. And I think it's about time that we really look into this matter and unleash any concerns that we have so that we're able to support them, inshallah. These are some of the areas that we are looking into when it comes to event aspect of it. But aside from the growth aspect of it, that's why we have you as the strategic planning and development lead. Inshallah, we're looking to grow into different areas of the Afghan community, which is outside of the Afghan GTA community. How we have done amazing stuff here in Toronto, but how can we take that and go into different areas, wider communities? Because we've had support from different communities. Honestly, Afghan community, which is us outside of GTA, we want to get involved. How can we get involved? And mashallah, our youth and engagement coordinator, Brother Sulaiman, he's the one who got involved all the Afghan student association, and oh my gosh, it's massive. And at the beginning he tried to reach them first, but now it's so much easier for him. They try to reach us now or reach him. So that tells you there's something that Sulaiman has done, or Unite for Afghanistan, or all of us have done. We have left something for people to kind of knock the door. Hey, I want to be part of this. Even though we're not an official organization, but they want to be part of it. They're thrilled. So we want to get more youth involved, maybe like something in Ottawa. We've had some contact in Ottawa, but it's time to grow in different areas outside of GTA, inshallah.
Great. That's just amazing work. And one last thing to complete, basically.
Yeah.
One word that describes your journey, just one word, besides from legacy.
Describes my journey, like in what ways? When it comes to humanitarian, or
just in general?
That's a good question. I've never thought about that. Wow, you're making me question now. Okay, describes my journey. Just me being a woman. I think
being a woman.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think that's very powerful. Yeah. I think if we realize how much power in that woman is, I think a lot of things would change.
I know we're in the closing session, but the word ummah?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what it means, but it's an Arabic word. It means community. And it was very ironic to me. At that time, I didn't know.
Is mom,
exactly.
Right?
It came, the ummah word. So I wanted to look it up. And I looked it up. The word ummah came from
Yeah.
And means mother. And obviously women are mother. So that's like, oh, wow,
our community got it wrong.
Yeah.
We look at the other side around. We think man is everything. It's the woman that's
inshallah
everything.
We'll correct that soon. But yeah, I think just being a woman, it's you're raising up the entire community.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Which a lot of people take that very lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. Rana Jan, thank you so much. Thank you for being a light for not just for our Afghan community, but for anyone who believes in the power of service. And I think that's very important, that your story reminds of the true leadership that starts with compassion.
Yeah.
That along the way, that not changes people's life, but within ourselves.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jalal, for having me.
Appreciate it.